So with the rocket launcher finally out of ammunition, it was rather good to us. It's time to switch back to the Centurion to try and show that off just a little bit, or actually quite a bit, since we are going to be running into quite a few sticky situations coming up combat-wise as we explore what looks to be a rather technologically advanced area that I'm assuming is the defense post that Dimichev's men set up waiting for us. As it appears, though, it doesn't look like anybody's around that's actually alive, and I can only assume they were probably overrun by Zex, considering how close we are to E99 Central. But we do have this rather large red barrier that we can easily take down.
Well done, Captain, but you'd better start moving. That area is going to be swarming with soldiers and creatures soon.
And he's exaggerating a bit. They won't actually chase after us or come into this general area. They are more triggered into specific areas. So it may sound like there's a lot of scary things going on, like it's a very intense situation, but it's not intense just yet. For right now, though, we want to go ahead and explore over into this little room over here, because we can already see in the foreman's office is some weapon tech, which will trigger a little ambush behind us. Rather easy to take care of due to this door being the choke point. So with a nice little deadlock, we can pump these Zex full of Centurion bullets rather easily. And we can see at least some degree of power for the Centurion now. It pretty much only takes 3 shots to take care of some Zex, which is pretty good. I think it'll take about 2 shots to take down any normal Spetsnaz, so that's good, but considering the small clip size still of the Centurion, it's kind of a mixed bag. But things are a lot more hectic here than they have been for a while. As this entire place seems to be going up and overloading, while Zex and Spetsnaz just go at each other's throats. As we go ahead and collect this little bit of E99 health, we can already see that 2 of the Spetsnaz are apparently having a very large problem with one of those larger Zex we saw before. And I figure, well, it might be easier to deal with him while he's occupied. But I think you're not supposed to actually do that because, well, these guys don't seem to want to come and attack me afterwards, which is a bit weird. And that guy, I don't actually know what happened to that guy. I think he fell off the box and fell to his death. I think normally that larger Zex is actually supposed to bust through the door and be your main enemy after killing both the Spetsnaz. But just to make up for the fact that I don't have sharpshooter, and I'm probably not the most accurate person with the Centurion, it's also a good opportunity to show off the deadlock potential as much as possible. So we got some more weapon tech, that's always good. As of right now, though, the Centurion is fully upgraded, and I think I'm going to end up fully upgrading the autocannon by the end of this video, so we're actually not going to have much use for weapon tech after that. But this next part coming up is a bit of a tricky trap, mostly because, well, you'll see in a second. I'm carrying this health pack for good reason, though, not to heal myself, but as another tool. Oh, lots of tripwires. And we don't really have much to take care of them, so I thought I would use the health pack to deal with that, but I kind of lost it, so we're going to switch to overkill. And this particular set of traps just seems really unnecessary. They're just trying to pad out time, it seems. Honestly, I could probably run through most of these and just heal myself, but I'd rather try to save the health and the health packs, because we're going to need them.
Raw E99 was loaded into carts here for transport to the coast. Those carts are your only way in.
Now, while I'd normally like to watch some infighting between Spetsnaz and a Radion, we need to go ahead and collect everything we can before one of them kills the other. And this little chest over here is actually a rather nasty trap. If you don't know, those phase sticks will come out whenever you're approaching. But I think in this particular fight, the Radion is pretty much destined to win, since it has the more health and the greater damage output than the Spetsnaz, but it can get pretty weakened. And I ended up easily taking out the shielded soldier and rocket launcher elite Spetsnaz that came out. Just a well-placed barrel will pretty much kill anything. And we know the drill here. Just expand the box and we get access to a nice little secret that we don't especially need. More weapon tech. We're already back up to 8 weapon tech. Jeez. I really don't think that scientist is supposed to affect weapon tech, but it can be a pretty helpful bug nonetheless. And this was supposed to be our first introduction to the rocket launcher. Apparently somebody in the thread pointed out that I got it a bit earlier than I should have, just by the randomness of the game. But we'll need to go ahead and take down this Radion real quick with it. I'm actually going to be holding on to this rocket launcher for a bit longer, just for a section coming up where to say it's Radion heavy is an understatement, to say the least. It's also still fun to just blow up guys point blank, as the splash damage on this rocket launcher is actually a lot more forgiving than most games. But as far as I can tell, this entire road section will just have an endless spawn of Radion coming at you, so I think it's time we go ahead and continue onward. Now, that's not the end of that little bridge section, but first, I think we can hear a Spetsnaz nearby. There's plenty of rocket ammunition up here, and it may give you the impression that this is supposed to be some type of area to make your last stand, but in reality we're just wanting to clear out as much useful items as we can in this general area, including a box of E99 tech up here. And we're just wanting to go ahead and make our way across this rather rickety little trolley here. And there are a lot of Radion waiting for us. So we'll go ahead and grab a spare set of rockets here and make our way across. Now this section can either be incredibly difficult if you decide to fight it out as best you can, or you can try to take cover as best you can and try to stick behind the control panel on the trolley itself. That usually will save you from most of the shots, but that's boring watching me hide in a little crawl space. It's a lot more action intense to see rockets fly and Radions blow up, and still have Spetsnaz consider me the greater threat somehow. So they're gonna get their asses reverted. But we are almost across, so we're fairly safe. As long as you make sure and pay attention to the rocket Spetsnaz that spawn. Whoa. Oh. I'm out of rockets now, what do I do? Ah, thanks a lot. Well, that was pretty action intense, and I can only assume that last rocket Spetsnaz died, because I wished him well.
You should be inside the facility. So much E99 was processed there that time rifts occur naturally. Find the rift. Get back to 1955 as soon as you can.
That's gotta be a lot of E99 to deal with if it's just naturally causing rifts in time. But we have to do what the magical voice says, and first we're going to use some of this weapon tech to go ahead and finish upgrading the autocannon. I suppose quicker reload times could help. But we are still going to try to use the pistol as much as possible. And if you thought those combat sections were great, they only get better. Though apparently the hitboxes on the mutants is apparently not very nice to me. You saw, I shot that guy in the head point blank while he was frozen in time. And it went through his head. That's, yeah. With this big imposing door, it actually leads to a very, very important place. The cooker.
You're far enough in. You should be seeing a rift by now. Use it to find the activation code we'll need to recharge the E99 bomb. Dr. Petrov keeps it in his office. I wish there was an easier way, Captain.
While this charming place seems nice now, it actually gets rather bright and sunny whenever we get back into the past to find this Dr. Petrov. Hopefully it's a little bit more eventful than finding that box from the previous update. There's our rift. Let's go ahead and use that. while this big ball of light is apparently E99 in its purest form. And it certainly does look safe, so let's see if we can't find some of these safety zones this PA is talking about. Nice little decontamination shower over here. And over in this laboratory area, there's actually a very important and very nice TMD upgrade. First though, we have a little note here to read. Basically just talking about the cooker and how advanced technology it is, but here we have the forge. That's right, we now have an additional TMD equipment slot, which I'll be exchanging some things in this particular video since, well, I think we've been using scientists for long enough, and I think we have plenty of E99 to last us for the rest of the game. So I think it's time to use some of the more beneficial TMD equipments. That is some sweet pistol action. But I'm wanting to say this is Dr. Petrov's office, but he does not seem to be in here right now, so let's go ahead and ransack the place for goodies. I wonder where he could... oh, there he is.
Oh my god, you're him! The one who tried to kill Dr. Demichev! He wonders you made a return! Security! The assassin is in my lab! All security teams report to Area 6C.
Looks like they are fully in the know now about us. About our presence, I should say, so I think it's best to make our presence as known as possible. Hey, what are you... very nice. That revert probably wasn't our smartest creation yet, but what is this guy doing? Slacking on the job, buddy.
We are at security status red.
Now this room coming up is, to say dangerous would be an understatement, as there are a lot of these 1950 soldiers, and honestly there is not a lot of good hiding spaces. There are a number of these electrical boxes which they don't have a very wide range of attack, and they just take so long to kill guys that hopefully this revert will do a better job. Yes, the revert is slaughtering them all. And that's his reward. Oh, apparently though that electrical box didn't finish the job. But that went as well as hoped, I assume. This is just Dr. Petrov apparently talking about the experimentations between E99 and plant life. We'll be seeing more of that, and probably get some inkling of how things like tripwires came into being. First though, we're going to want to ransack as much as possible, also heal up as much as possible with whatever is laying around. Apparently E99 has some weird effects on people. Who knew? Wow, they really wanted to give me stim packs here. That's semi-helpful, but this is even more helpful. I could really do with some Centurion ammunition. Sadly though, they won't let me bring the electrical box with me, so I will have to say goodbye for now, electrical box. And also, I do apologize for the brief pausing. I had some technical issues that I had to deal with very quickly.
Security teams, converge on sector D6. All areas should commence with lockdown procedures immediately. Security teams, converge on sector D6. We are at security status red.
Oh, that was just the perfect toss. Look at all those frozen bastards. But yeah, this particular area, in comparison to a lot of other parts of the game, is really action heavy and really tends to throw guys at you in mass, pretty much. Sadly though, it seems that our Centurion ammo drops just haven't been numerous enough, and we're gonna have to revert to our much stronger weapon. So just making sure that I am always fully stocked on health packs, since they are nice enough to leave them around. But we have another little plant-oriented experimentation lab here. See, there actually looks like they're growing tripwires. And these notes in here will explain why that is. Apparently, for Petrov to continue his experimentations, he had to find some warfare reasons to grow plant life, and, well, he did, while also continuing his general experiments with E99 and plant life. So apparently he was the reason for these tripwires and these very rarely seen, very iridescent underwater enemies. I think we are slowly but steadily making our circumference around this entire place and almost to our goal. Yes, we have finally caught up with Petrov, and for some reason it will not allow us to kill him. So it's a shame, I suppose, but thankfully he left behind plenty of E99 tech, his activation code, and some rather incriminating documents about, well, he was apparently one of the people feeding the E99 irradiated food to children, so yeah, that guy was kind of an asshole. But since we have an augmenter and we do have that option to buy the new TMD equipment slot, let's go ahead and get that done. 5,000 may seem very costly, but having that extra equipment slot is very nice. So I figured I would go ahead and get energized in Field Doctor. Go ahead and exchange out Scientist. That way we can pretty much have a nice consistent stream of TMD energy and also have a good amount of health pretty much all the time. But now that we have our TMD, or we have the cooker activation code, we can now continue on and try to power up our E99 bomb. Not before dealing with one last little hurrah with our 1950s buddies. Sadly, I just do not want to play fair with them. Sorry guys, but I got things to do, places to go, people to see. But this is where we will power up the bomb and hope for the best. Yeah, this seems like a totally safe and good idea.
Evacuate the facility immediately.
Shit, we only got a minute. We gotta hurry. Oh. Yeah, they do try to throw a few more Spetsnaz at us here, but really about half of them end up getting killed while we overload the cooker there. That was probably not the best idea, but you know, screw you 50s, we're from the future.
Evacuate immediately. Explosive system failure imminent.
Yeah, something looks different. Maybe we did something bad. Either way, see you next time for more Singularity.